My guest today on Pet Watch is Samantha Anderson, who we call Sam. So if you call the shelter and somebody named Sam, this is who you're going to get. Hey, Sam.
Hello.
Sam is in charge of the Community Cat Program at Williamson County Animal Center. Many of our viewers may not understand exactly what a community cat is. So before we get into our goals for this year,
Yes.
tell me, what is a community cat and how do people familiarize themselves with it?
So essentially, a community cat is a cat that lives outdoors. It might be feral or wild. It might be friendly. It might be owned by someone. It might not. Basically, you see them around your community. So, there are people that leave food out for the cats in the neighborhood, and so, that cat might visit them for breakfast and then visit another house for a second breakfast, and hang out on somebody's porch where it's nice and comfy, and then go home for dinner and maybe pal around with some of the other cats in the neighborhood, throughout the day. So they might have one owner, they might have more than one owner, or the community cares for them or kind of owns them.
Or someone in the community is caring for them, because they may be also referred to as strays. So it's a cat that it doesn't necessarily have a name, and you are not the sole owner of it, and you don't claim it for your own, and you don't take it to the vet, but you don't want it to starve, so you may feed it, which is okay.
Yes, it is.
And I know each case is a little bit different, and sometimes people don't understand the community cat, and why we know they're there.
Yes.
Now, last year we initiated a special program to trap, spay, neuter, and return cats to neighborhoods in Franklin.
Yes. And
what did you find when you started that program?
so we found that there are a lot of outdoor cats in Williamson County. The estimate is 1 for every 7 people. So if you take the population of Williamson County and think about 1 every 7 or 7 cats for every 1 person, that's a lot of cats in our community. And basically the people, even if these cats are feral or not owned by someone, the people feeding them and caring for them really, really care about them and really love them. And we want to provide them services, trap, neuter, return, to where we can provide this free service of getting the cat fixed, a rabies shot, a microchip, and an ear tip to identify that it is fixed, and put it back out in the community, because it's going to benefit the cat. It's going to benefit the neighborhood, because there's going to be those decreased nuisance behaviors that you hear about, like spraying and yowling. And it's going to be beneficial for you, because you're not going to wake up to litters of kittens and really sick cats in your community, because the population is stabilizing. So it's really a win-win-win.
Yeah, it sounds like it. And it's a matter of educating people too. And many people don't realize how prolific cats are at reproducing.
Yes.
And they can reproduce as young as what age?
18 weeks.
18 weeks.
Yes.
So an 18-week-old kitten, which is 4.5 months, can actually have kittens.
Yeah, baby having babies.
Well, we don't want that.
No, we don't.
It's hard on them. They only weigh 3-4 pounds at that point, and they've not even grown to adulthood yet.
Right.
I mean, it's difficult. And then their gestational period, they're pregnant for how long before they have the litter?
It's quite short. I don't know exactly, but I believe it's less than 6 weeks.
Okay, so the kitten could have a litter and then get pregnant again.
Yes.
And many litters in 1 year. You can see how the problem develops.
Yes.
And you were just really introducing this in the community last year, and you had some phone calls, and you'd had people say, I see a lot of cats in our neighborhood. So we kind of hit large areas. We hit down in the downtown Franklin area.
We did.
We hit College Grove. We hit out in Fairview, where we were getting these calls. What did that amount to by the end of this last year? How many cats actually came through the program?
So we had almost 1,200 cats come through the program, and our goal was 1,000. So we surpassed our goal for the year of 2019, and we were pretty excited about that, because that means happier, healthier cats in our community.
Yeah, and that was really more of a 9-month effort than it was a 12-month effort.
Yes.
So
yes.
in 2020, we're trying for 2020.
We are indeed.
Yeah. So we've set a lofty goal of 700 or 800 more cats than last year because we know they're out there. And so we're setting a goal of 2,020 cats in the year 2020. So it's easy for people to remember. But you and I can't go trap all these cats.
No.
And they have to be trapped. They're not going to walk over to you and have you pick them up and put them in a carrier. In fact, that's a dangerous way to deal with them.
It is,
So
yes.
explain trapping and the humane trapping that we do is there's no harm to the animal.
Yeah.
Right? And so
Yeah.
how does that process work?
Right. So for a feral cat, which again is a wild cat, they've never been socialized to humans, meaning that they're never going to be a pet cat, and they're probably never just going to come up to you. So we have a humane, it's called a box trap, and basically it's a very long rectangle. It's got a trigger plate, and then it opens up on one side. The cat walks in and eats the food and puts its paws on the trigger plate, and the door shuts right behind them. And it's safer for the cat, and it's safer for you, and it's safer for us staff to be able to handle this cat once it is in the trap.
And so there are some tricks to the trapping.
Yes.
The cats may be used to eating off your back porch every night, so you advise people to put the trap out but keep it open
Yes.
for a few days. And sometimes you have to cover it to trick the cat.
Yep.
Every cat's a little different. And,
Right.
if you catch something other than a cat, what do you do then?
Right. Well, firstly, I want to say don't be ashamed if you're feeding cats. People call me and they feel guilty that they're feeding these cats, and we understand why you're doing it. You're doing it because you care. And honestly, that's the first step in trapping a cat. So you want to gain their trust, and you want to be feeding them on a schedule. And then, like you said, you can tie the trap open so that they get used to walking in and out of it, because it's kind of a
To
scary
get their
thing.
dinner.
Exactly.
So dinner moved from where it used to be,
Yep.
and it's in this new thing.
Yep. And it should only be in that thing.
And if they're
Yes.
hungry enough and you do it every day at the same time, you'll gain their trust and
Yep.
it'll go in there. Okay.
Exactly. And then cats are what we call crepuscular, meaning that they're most active at dawn and dusk. So my biggest suggestion for not catching skunks, possums, raccoons is do not set your trap overnight. Set it in the morning when you get up, and don't leave your house. Set it while you're there getting ready for work or getting your kids ready for school. If you don't catch the cat, shut the trap for the day. And then when you get home around the time that you might feed, go ahead and open it up. And before you get ready for bed, if you see that cat hasn't gone in the trap, close it. Because most people catch wildlife if they set it overnight and leave it.
And you don't want to get into a situation where you catch a skunk
No.
and make it mad, because then you have a second problem.
That's no fun.
That's
Yeah.
no fun at all. Now, the seasonal nature of kittens is typically peaks with the largest number of kittens in the hottest months of the year,
Yes.
June, July, and August.
Yes.
So why are we talking about this in February to people?
Well, we are still fixing cats, of course, because we do get owner surrenders and we do get strays. And we're already finding that with this warmer winter, some cats are coming into heat already, which means that, they're getting ready to hold babies, and they're getting ready to have babies. And so we want to be proactive instead of reactive and get some of these cats fixed before they get pregnant and have a litter of kittens.
Now, last year we had the typical seasonal influx of kittens in June, July, and August.
Yes.
Exceeded 300, I think it was closer, averaged around 300 for those 3 months.
Right.
Tremendous amount of pressure on the shelter because people find the babies and bring them to us. So what do you tell people if they see a litter of kittens?
Yes, well, I actually just learned this really great trick, super easy for you to find out if mom is coming back. You can sprinkle flour, regular baking flour, around the kittens, do a nice thick layer, and you can check back and see if there's any paw prints in there. You'll know then if mom is coming back. So I would always say watch and wait, because the best way for a kitten to survive is to be with its mother.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes things happen. They don't come back, or they get run over or something like that. Then of course we're happy to help, but we do want mom to be able to care for her kittens. And then when the kittens are ready and mom is ready, we can get them all fixed for you.
And you have a way of attracting mom back to the kittens to capture her as well?
Yeah, so you know, typically we would use food as what we call bait for the traps, but you can also, you know, use the mom or the babies because, you know, naturally they want to be together. So, you know, if we're trying to catch mom and she's being really elusive, you know, we put the kittens in a carrier and set it at the end of the trap. And naturally, of course, she's going to want to walk in and check on our babies. And then, you know, we can capture her that way and make sure that she doesn't have another litter.
A newborn kitten is so vulnerable. They don't really move from the nest that she's created. They create little nests in safe places, up under buildings, in the corner, behind boards that are in somebody's garage, anywhere that mom can find that's warmer than being out in the open. But how a newborn kitten in the wild can't survive in extreme cold, extreme heat. So it's important if you see a litter of newborns, and I'm talking tiny, smaller than the palm of your hand, they're very helpless and very vulnerable.
Yes.
Right. And when do they even open their eyes?
They don't really open their eyes for at least a week, maybe even 2 after birth. They can't, you know, walk right away, of course. You know, they're very small and they need the mom to help regulate their body temperature. They need mom for food. They need mom for waste removal. And so humans can do that okay, but not as good as mom can.
Yeah, and we have a number of wonderful foster cat fosters who are willing to take kittens.
Yes.
And we call them neonates, or there's kittens that have to be fed. And they have tiny baby bottles. They get fed every 2 hours. They have to be stimulated for their elimination. So there are lots of problems that come up with newborns that are separated from mom. We save them the best we can, but it takes a lot of work, and we don't have the instincts of the mother cat and the natural instincts. So if you can catch mom and kittens, then we can get them all in a safe place with a foster, and the foster won't have to worry about their body temperature and their nutrition because they're getting it all from mom. So that's important to remember. So trapping should not intimidate people. It's simple. We have a video and information on our website, adoptwcac.org. We have the traps at the shelter if people want to come and do a refundable deposit, right? And you will show them how to set the trap.
Yes, I'm happy to show people how to set the trap. I know, like Debbie said, it does look really intimidating. And my first few years at the shelter, I didn't know how to work a trap. And it is really easy. I promise you, stop by the shelter. I will show you, and I think that you'll be surprised on how easy it really is.
So if you don't have a trap or don't want to purchase one, they're about $50 to $75.
And that's a refundable deposit. That you get as long as you bring the trap back. You get your entire deposit back.
Okay, so ours is $50 rental, or if a person wants to buy one, they can go to the co-op store or something like that.
Absolutely.
And I always get a humane trap. It's called a live trap. It's not a traditional trap that for wild. They're different. They're different kinds of traps. So people should be knowledgeable about what they're buying if they're going to buy one. And we would love to have more people volunteer to help trap, even if it's not the cat in their yard. We have volunteers that actually will help people.
Absolutely.
If they're overwhelmed or they have they're unable to go out in the back of the yard and set the trap for some reason, we will set them up with one of our experienced trappers and let them go over there. So in order to make 2020 our campaign successful, you're allowing cats and traps to be dropped off at the shelter when?
Yes. So Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 9:30. Please bring a cat and a trap, and we will, provide you those free services of spay or neuter, rabies shot, microchip, and an ear tip to the left ear, just to show that the cat has been fixed without having to handle it.
And many of the areas that you worked last year, you'll be going back to and appealing to the citizens there and the neighborhoods to continue the trapping, because it's hard to get every cat all at once.
Yes, cats are very smart. They start to learn our patterns. They start to hear what our car engine sounds like. And so we want to go back again and kind of get the stragglers so that we can stabilize that population. And then once it's stabilized, hopefully it will decrease.
That's the ultimate goal of the the trap, neuter, return program.
Yes.
Is that the cat is thriving, but now it won't reproduce.
Exactly.
And will reduce the cat population. What other effects did this 1,185 spay neuters have on the shelter last year?
Yeah, so we saw a 30% reduction in the number of strays in our facility and a 7% reduction in the owner surrender of cats. And so that is astronomical. That is better for the cats. They don't have to, sit in our facility and wait. That's better for our staff. They don't have to clean, twice the number of kennels that they normally would. And it's better for, ultimately the county and our community because we are actually, spending less resources on caring for these cats in the shelter. So again, it's a triple win.
And the shelter, if you put a lot of little kittens together, they sneeze on each other and they all get upper respiratory infections.
Yes, they
It's hard to
do.
keep the herd healthy and when it's full-blown kitten season and they're 50 or 60 in kennels facing each other.
Right.
So they may be cute and cuddly, but we've got enough of them. That's our
Yes.
message.
Yes.
And we'd like to enlist people to help us reduce that population and make our numbers for 2020 and our goal for 2020. I want to thank Sam for coming by and talking about the community cat program at Williamson County Animal Center. And if you'd like more information about it, about how to trap a cat, you have questions about it, you can call Samantha Anderson or email her at the shelter. And you can also go on our website, which is adoptwcac.org.